Let's check our triple S. So feel ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the ribs, ribs over the pelvis, and we'll bring our hands to our rib cage in whatever way you want. You could have same hand on rib, you could have your hands cross over, front and back, whatever works for you. And let's close the eyes. And as you keep that stack of your neutral spine, let's inhale and visualize a balloon in your rib cage. So when we inhale, we want to blow up that balloon, creating space for it, feeling the rib cage expand. And as we exhale, we want to let that air out of the balloon. So as we empty that exhale, our rib cage is going to contract back in toward the body. Inhaling, feeling that expansion in all directions around the rib cage, not just the front, not just the sides. Exhale to empty. And feel that movement of the rib cage. So at your own pace, really try to put your awareness around the rib cage. So hands on the body is great for that brain-body connection. Your ribs have something to expand or breathe or push into as you inhale. All right, so now that we've established that 360 breath, we're going to make our way onto our back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat. So we want to feel that same triple S here. If you have a block and you'd like to grab it, we'll do a little squeeze here for an extra core engagement. We're going to start to focus on the breath as part of the core. So inhaling here, feeling that expansion around the ribs. Same thing as when we were seated. Now exhale, let's exhale to empty and squeeze the block. You can exhale through your mouth if you'd like. And notice if you feel any tightening or any core engagement around the front body or the side body, back body as you squeeze the block. So you want to inhale, get that expansion. As you exhale to empty, let's give that block a little squeeze. Inhale, we're going to add on. Exhale, squeeze the block, exhale through the mouth, keep your sacrum down, pick up your left foot any amount, adding some hip flexion, challenging the stability of the pelvis and the core, step it down, inhale, expand into the ribs like you've got a balloon in there. Exhale through your mouth, let's squeeze the block, pick up that right foot without arching the low back. Hold that core engagement, hold that exhale. Step it down, inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block. Exhale through the mouth, hold the sacrum still, pick up the left foot. Step it down, inhale, expand all the way around the ribs. Exhale through your mouth, squeeze the block. Keep pulling the belly down as you pick up that right foot. Step that right foot down. You can put the block aside, or if you'd like to use it for your bridge pose, you absolutely can. And if you're using it for bridge, it can come between the knees or the thighs. And let's start to sync our movement to our breath in bridge pose. So we're going to be doing the same type of thing here. If you'd like to have hands on the ribs, you can. Take a breath in, expand into the ribs. Now this time as you exhale through your mouth, we're going to give the block a little hug if you've got it, and feel your tailbone lift up, lifting up one vertebra at a time like you're peeling up Velcro from the ground. So nice and slow, segmentally lifting into low bridge. Pause when you get there. We're staying low. We're not letting the pelvis move. We're just moving through the hips. Take an inhale, expand. Exhale, hug the block. Exhale through your mouth and lower down one vertebra at a time. Slowing that movement of the spine until you touch the sacrum down. Inhale, expand while you're down. Exhale, hug the block. You can exhale through your mouth, curl up like you're peeling up Velcro into that low bridge. This time we'll hold in our low bridge. Feel your two pelvic points draw in toward each other like you're cinching up or tightening your sweatpants. Long through the low back. Let's reach the palms up. Left fingers will stretch out that right wrist. Getting into some wrist extension before we get onto our hands. Let's switch hands, stretch out the other wrist. Keep tightening those pelvic points in. Reaching long through the tailbone. Let's bring the hands back to the ribs. Take one more breath in. Exhale, hug the block. Let's lower down as slowly as we can one final time until we feel that sacrum land. And we can remove the block if you have it. Hands will come behind the head for our core work. Interlace the fingers, hands behind the skull, elbows up toward the ceiling or in toward the forehead, whatever is tighter in with the elbows. Take a breath in and picture that balloon expanding into the rib cage. Let's exhale through the mouth as if we were breathing through a straw. At the end of your exhale, the very end, when you've emptied that breath out, we're going to try to hold that, retain the breath, and just lift off the shoulder blades. Don't even worry about the head lifting. Keep the head a little heavy, back of the neck long. Inhale to lower down. Let's take that big, expansive inhale. Exhale as if you were breathing out through a straw. At the end of your exhale, you're going to lift off the shoulder blades. Now, can you picture or feel those front ribs knitting or drawing in toward each other a little bit more? And that action might get you a little higher off the shoulder blades. Inhale to lower down. Let's add on. Exhale through your straw. At the end of your exhale, think about lifting the shoulder blades, not leading with the head. Knit those front ribs in. Now let's combine what we did before. Can you pick up your right foot without letting the sacrum, which is right between your cheeks, leave the mat? Step it down. Inhale and lower. Big breath in. Exhale through your straw. At the end of your exhale, all the way empty, lift off the shoulder blades, not leading with the head and neck. Keep the belly pulling down slightly as you pick up the left foot. Step that left foot down. Inhale and lower. All right, let's release that. We're going to come to our left side for a little thoracic rotation. So we'll bend the knees, roll to your left side. Spine is long. Both arms reach over to the side. Let's inhale. Open the right arm up and back. You can always bend the elbow if that feels better for the shoulder. And then let's bring it back over as you exhale. Inhale, up and over. We're turning through the ribs, not through the low back or the hips. And then exhale it back over. Let's do one more. Inhale, turning through the ribs. Just a gentle assessment of that thoracic rotation today. And we'll switch sides. Come to the right side. Knees bend. Head is relaxed. Let's inhale that left arm up and open. Arm can be straight or elbow bent. Exhale it up and over. Inhale, open into that thoracic rotation. We're turning through the ribs, but not through the low back. Let's do one more. And as we assess this side, does it feel any different than the first side? Good. As we come back, you can make your way into a seated position. And we'll pause here. If you want to sit on something again, you can. Let's feel that triple S here. So as you sit, we want ears stacked over the shoulders, shoulders over the ribs, and the ribs over the pelvis. Bring your right arm up. Now imagine someone lifting you up by your right wrist. So get everything a little bit more length and reach on that right side. As we side bend to the left, you can let the neck release. If you want to bring your left hands over to the right side body or the right ribs, you can just focus the breath a little bit more into this right side. Think about expanding right into the rib cage, into those intercostal muscles between each rib. Getting a little more space to expand the breath. And then let's switch. Left arm up, get longer, reach higher on that left side. The armpit lifts up toward the ear. We side bend, maybe releasing the neck. You can use that hands-on feedback here and picture breathing right into that left side. All right, let's come back up. We're gonna head to quadruped, coming to hands and knees. And we'll do a couple things here. So if you want to be on your fist, you could do that. You could be on palms. Let's make sure the knees are in nice and tight toward the hands. So if you have a mirror, look at yourself if you can. Your knees are probably going to need to be in closer than you think to maintain a neutral pelvis or a long spine. So let's start here finding that triple S. If a broom behind us would touch the back of our skull, our shoulder blades, and our sacrum. So we'll start with that 360 breath here. Picture that balloon inside your rib cage. Inhale, feel the whole rib cage expand front, side, and back. Exhale through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. And notice the movement of the ribs. Can you feel them coming back in closer toward the body? Inhale, expand like you're breathing into a balloon. Exhale through your imaginary straw. All the way to empty. Now we'll stick with that at your own pace. Inhale, feel that expansion, front, side, and back into the ribs. If you'd like to add on, you'll exhale, same way through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw, but maybe you add a hover of the knees without totally rounding the back. So we're trying to maintain that neutral spine and that core connection and that neutral pelvis, but you can amp up that challenge by hovering the knees as you exhale. So we're practicing that coordination of the breath, the core, and the pelvic floor. We inhale, we get that expansion. The diaphragm lowers, and then we exhale, the ribs contract back in, the diaphragm lifts back up to help us expel that breath back out. So we can breathe automatically, or we can be very intentional about it. Let's take either a child's pose or a puppy pose. So hips can sit all the way back if that's comfortable. If hips higher feels better in a puppy pose, keep those hips higher, so less hip flexion. And you can let the head hang or just release here. And as we give the wrists a little bit of a break, let's focus on that expansive inhale. Can we harness that 360-degree expansion? And that strong exhale where we can feel the ribs come back in. We're getting that deep core to kick on at the end of the exhale, all the way to empty. All right, we're coming back onto our hands or fists for a little bit more of that thoracic rotation, this time in our quadruped position. So we'll have to focus a little bit more on shoulder stability. We'll keep our left hand down. Try to maintain that left shoulder over the left wrist crease or left fist if that's where you are. Right arm is going to come behind the head, so back of the skull. Feel your head lift up, the back of your head lift up into your hand, maintaining a fairly neutral neck. Push into that left hand. So we're pushing the ground away, turning the ribs to the right. Just like we practiced on our back, we're turning the ribs, but we're not turning through the low back. And we'll exhale back to our starting position, chest facing down. Push the ground away, turn through the ribs. This is thoracic rotation. And then bring it back. But we do have to maintain a little bit more of that core here. Hold that left shoulder steady as we turn the ribs. Let's switch, right hand or fist down under the shoulder. Recheck that triple S. Would a broom touch the back of your skull, your shoulder blades, and your sacrum? Left hand behind the back of the skull. Lift the front of the throat up. Push that right hand into the ground. Turn your ribs left. And then exhale, back to your starting position. So our goal is to hold this right shoulder really strong. Push down into the right hand. Turn the ribs. Maintain that long spine. Let's do one more. Push the ground away with that right hand. Turn the ribs. Stay long through the low back. And then bring it back. All right, hands come down. We're going to come to a downward dog. So we'll tuck our toes. Feel your hip creases lift way up. Knees stay soft. We're going to walk our feet in so that our down dog is pretty short. And heels are lifted. You can pedal the feet out if that feels good. You could swivel here, letting the knees and toes turn side to side, but maintain that strong position of the shoulders and the arms. So wherever we are, if we're in down dog, we're keeping the front ribs lifted in toward the body. You could also be in child's pose. So whatever's going to be best for you, let's focus on whatever's happening with our breath. Hands will walk back toward the feet for happy squat. Huge bend in the knees. I want you to bend the knees enough that you can get your belly to touch your thighs without rounding your back. So nice and bent. We'll push the ground away. So we get up using the legs, not the low back. Finding that neutral position here. So if you have a block, if you have a pillow, if you have anything to squeeze like we did on our back, you can use that. If you don't have anything to squeeze, that's fine. You're still going to be engaging the core and moving with the breath. But we are going to use it as just that extra engagement for the core. You might notice you feel a little bit more just muscle engagement or tension when you add that squeeze than if you don't. So we're going to use it to balance. Let's breathe in, feel that expansion around the rib cage. Exhale through your mouth, give the block a squeeze. Shift your weight onto your left foot. So we don't have to lift the right leg high. We're just trying to maintain that neutral pelvis. And then inhale, step that right foot forward. Knees can stay really soft. Take a big breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Squeeze the block. We're getting that extra core engagement. Shift your weight into the right foot. So we're just going to walk or march our way forward like this. You can go any pace. So when we have both feet down, we inhale, expand. We exhale whenever you're ready, squeeze, or just exhale to empty and shift your weight. So you want to be moving on the exhale or on that breath retention. We've got those deep core stabilizers kicking on at the end of the exhale. So that's always going to give us that extra edge at balance or core engagement or strength. All right, we'll walk our way forward and then just move the block aside. Knees will stay nice and soft as we come to the front of the mat. Left arm's going to reach up, right arm's going to reach down. We're going to start with a side bend. So keep the pelvis level, meaning don't stick your butt out. We're going to slide the right arm down as we side bend. Push the ground away to come back up. And then right arm up, left hand down. Slide that left hand down the leg. Keep the knees as bent as you need to keep the pelvis neutral. And then back up. Both arms up. Let's exhale and hinge, maintaining that neutral spine. So super slow here. All the way forward. Come to hands and knees, back to quadruped. All right, let's pause here and we'll do a little swivel to free up the breath some more. You could have toes tucked or untucked. Knees will swivel to the left, feet over to the right side of the mat. Round your back like we're doing cat-cow. And just pause here. Take a moment to press the ground away, really doming, broadening the upper back. Let the head hang heavy. And then we'll just kind of unwind that. Knees to the right, feet to the left. Press the ground away. We're rounding the back like our cat pose. Let the head hang. Let's spread the shoulder blades away from each other and really focus on breathing into this right backside. Let's unwind that back to quadruped. Our right foot will step forward. 90-90 lunge. Lift up. And we'll pause here. We want to feel that same alignment of our ears stacked over our shoulders, shoulders over the ribs, ribs over the pelvis. Left glute's got a little squeeze to it. We're going to start with an arm swing. And it's teeny tiny. We're swinging the arms and turning the ribs. But we're not turning the pelvis, the hips, or the low back. So we're going to maintain that engagement in the left glute. And now that we've got this movement a little bit more naturally, we're going to add the breath to it. So we're going to exhale through the mouth as we swing the left arm forward. You can go slow. You can go quick. Pick up the pace as much as that feels good or comfortable for you, maintaining that feeling of your triple S, the pelvis not turning with it. So we're maintaining that core. Good, hands come down. Let's cat-cow. Free up the spine, continuing to free up the back and the tissues around the ribs. Good, left foot steps forward. We're heading into that same 90-90 or half kneel. Lift up, picture that broom behind your back. This time, right glut's got a little squeeze to it, so we're actively stretching the front of the hip. Let's add the arm swing before we focus on the breath. So just this small, gentle turn of the ribs, that's thoracic rotation. We're not turning down below. So we're already having to use those deep core stabilizers to hold the pelvis still. Let's add the breath to it. We exhale through the mouth when the right arm swings forward. Any pace, you could slow it down, you could pick it up. But really try to feel the ribs are turning, but the legs aren't being affected by that. Good, come to hands and knees for quadruped. You can stay here or you can lower onto your forearms, forearm quadruped. Let's try to cat-cow here. So same thing if you're on your forearms, if you haven't done this before, it's very similar, but you might notice it feels a little bit different, maybe in the mid-back or somewhere. It kind of blocks you from moving in certain areas, so you can really focus on this mid-back area. You can stick with this, you can come to a down dog, you can shift it back into a child's pose, whatever feels good for you to focus on that 360 breath. So wherever you are, let's feel that inhale, we expand all the way around the ribs. And let's work on a full exhale. We'll walk it forward, bent knee forward fold. Press the ground away, use your legs to get up, not your low back. Knees stay soft, right hand slides down the right leg, we side bend, freeing up that left side body. Bring it up and we'll switch. Right arm up, left arm slides down the left leg. Keep the pelvis from tipping forward. Good, both arms up. Lift those shoulder blades. Now huge bend in knees. We're gonna hinge really slowly. Exhale, hinge, maintain contact with your full feet, the toes too. Meeting back to hands and knees. Good, quick little swivel here, knees to the left, feet to the right. Round your back, one breath, breathing into that left backside. Switch, knees to the right, feet to the left, round the back. Good, unwind, right foot steps forward, left knee slides in. We'll tuck the left toes this time. 90-90 with the toes tucked, same alignment here. Feel that neutral pelvis, ears over the shoulders. Okay, hands could come to a block if you want to squeeze it, but I'm going to show without the block this time. Fists come together, same intention. We want to exhale, generate a little bit of that tension in the core. So we inhale and expand. Exhale, you could practice through your nose or through your mouth, but we still want to feel that strong exhale. Really think about expelling that breath out and turning the ribs slightly to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, strong exhale, empty it out, rotate the ribs to the right. So we're just rotating toward that front leg as we exhale, and you can inhale when you come back to center. So again, you're going to be at your own pace. Slow it down or pick up the pace, whatever feels good for you, but really try to move with the breath. So again, we're practicing that coordination of pelvis staying neutral, breathing into the ribs, maintaining neutral spine, and that core integration, tension, engagement, whatever you want to call it. Good, left hand will come down. Left knee slides in, modified side plank. Right foot back. Let's pause here. Secure this left shoulder, just like we did in quadruped for that thoracic rotation. We don't want this left shoulder to wiggle around. Hold it still. Feel that left glute and hip really working. Right arm will reach up. If it feels good, take that right arm up and over like you're trying to side bend and arc the ribs as much as you can, getting that same side bendy feeling or stretch along the right side of the torso. And just breathe here. Expand like a balloon into the rib cage. Good, backstroke that right arm back to quadruped. Let's do a little belly roll here, torso circle. This nice, almost circular cat-cow, both ways. And left foot will step forward. Right knee stays down, but we'll tuck the toes 90-90. Let's pause here. Triple S, right glute firm. You could be squeezing the block or just do knuckles together. Inhale, get that expansion front, side, and back into the ribs. Exhale, you can even push your fists into each other for that extra tension. Exhale to empty, rotate the ribs to the left without the low back turning with it. Inhale when you get back to center, any pace, expand as you inhale. Exhale, maybe we push our knuckles into each other a little bit more, find that tension in the arms. Good, any pace, we'll do a couple more. So we're really working to hold that pelvis still. We're turning the ribs and we're using those deep core muscles. Modified side plank, right hand down, right knee slides in, left foot back. Secure this right shoulder, so we're trying not to have it move around. Same thing with the right hip. Left arm can come up or up and over like you're side bending and trying to reach those left fingers up and over back toward the ground. Keep pushing the right hand into the ground. Backstroke the left arm. Wherever you'd like to end up, cat-cow, child's pose, or downward dog. Let's walk it forward, bent knee, forward fold. Push the ground away, rise up. All right, arms come down. We'll do a quick little balance. Couple ways to do it. I'll show both. We're gonna move as we balance with the breath. You could always have hands on the pelvis. Take a breath in. Exhale, nose or mouth, but try to get it to empty. Feel the ribs come back in. At the end of that exhale, you're gonna shift your weight into the left foot. So right foot doesn't have to lift high. Make sure nothing else changes. And then inhale as you step it down. Get that expansion. Exhale, however you want to empty. When you're ready, shift your weight to the other foot. So our first option is just shifting weight side to side, single leg balance, single leg hip strength, working that core connection, or amp it up a little bit when you exhale and pick up the foot. Maybe you send it back into more of a bent knee airplane. Pick it up again, step it down. So of course you could do something in between those two options. I'll just show a couple quickly. You can maybe tap it back instead. Whatever you're doing, you're just amping up the challenge and trying to maintain that exhale or that retention of the breath. Moving while you have that deep core really engaged, helping you to stabilize the spine. So find your variation today. Work that breath. Notice how it helps with that maintenance of balance, that core engagement when you really learn to sink the breath, including the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, and those deep core muscles. All right, let's make our way back down to the ground. Hands and knees, but we'll step our right foot out to the right. A little adductor stretch or rock. stay here. You could be on a fist if you want. You could turn your fingers out to the side if that feels good. Whatever you'd like as you rock it back. Feel that expansion into the ribs. And then just natural exhale. No need to force anything right now. Just come back to that natural breath. Bring that right knee back in and we'll switch. Left foot up to the left. Coming into that inner thigh stretch. Up into the groin. Allow the breath to just soften a bit. We still want to expand into the ribs. But we can let it be a little bit more relaxed now. I'm going to bring that left foot back in. If you would like to end seated, you can end seated. If you'd like to end on your back, you can do that. You could stay in child's pose or keep cat-cowing. Wherever you end up, let's let the eyes close. Relax your forehead. Relax your jaw. And just notice your breath, however it feels right now. And just remember that we breathe all day. And sometimes we think about it, and sometimes we don't. But we really can harness the breath, help us move better and feel better. And as we finish up here, take a moment to thank yourself for your practice today. Sending one grateful thought out into the universe.